And there we have it. We are recording. I have a whole
Cool.
bunch of many things popping up. Well, thank you again for joining me on your Sunday evening.
No worries.
You were on a stream earlier today. You went live.
Yes.
Where did you go, and how did it go?
So we were in Kouros today. So Kouros is like it's a replica. Well, it's not a replica. It's like a village that time forgot. It's still stuck in the 17th century. Um, and because of that, that's where they filmed the Outlander series from there. It was the backdrop as Cranesmuir in Outlander. And
Well,
it's
that's awesome.
also got a fantastic history dating back to the 6th century. And the stream was great, as when you're live streaming and you're out and about, especially in older buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Surrounded by stone, it wasn't built for Wi-Fi. Let's say that.
Or like cell service. It's so funny. Uh,
Yeah.
so one, just thank you again for being here. Sorry, I know I said that already. How long? So you've been streaming for a little while now. Like, how long? Wait, did you start on TikTok, and how long have you been doing the walkabouts?
So I didn't actually start on TikTok. I initially started. I'm not doing lives, but I initially started on YouTube,
Okay.
where I would when I would go on holiday and things like that. I would do reviews of the hotel. I would do tours around the local towns and that sort of thing. And then I've always knew TikTok was there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd never looked at it before. And then one day I just thought I'll just have a little look at it. And then I just went through it. I posted up a few videos and things of my travels in the past. And then I thought, well, what could I do here? And I thought, well, why not do something that I love doing? And that's going out and visiting local historical places in Scotland, and just telling people a little bit about the history of it. So that's kind of where it sort of started, and it was only in July last year when I actually started doing the
Oh,
live streams.
oh man, then I found you really early on in your TikTok
Yeah,
career.
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You were doing such a good job, so I figured you were doing it for like years.
No, 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 no. I used to do sort of public speaking about 10 or 15 years ago. So I was used to speaking on cameras and things like that. So that side of things didn't phase me. It
Yeah.
was more, although I had some knowledge, it was trying to cram all the knowledge into my head about all the history and the dates and the names and everything else. It can get a bit mixing up sometimes.
So, do you have that all memorized? Like, do you just know the
Eh,
history, or do you have like
I,
a screen?
over the months that I've been doing it, I've kind of a lot of it has kind of sunk into my head.
Yeah.
I still have to do research before I go and things like that, and sometimes I have to write it down if it's a new place that I've been to. But if I go back, so every so often I'll go back to the revisit a castle or a palace or something like that, and it gets to the stage where I can now go to somewhere like Lochleven Castle without any notes or anything like that, and I can kind of reel off the history of the castle. So yeah, it's just so sometimes it's bullet points just to remind myself.
Yeah.
You know, this was who visited this place. This is the dates, because it does get confusing now and again when you're trying to think of all the
Well,
dates and
I know
people.
I've listened to a few of yours when or I mean I try to catch that anytime I can. Just
Yeah,
with the time difference, you're usually when I'm working.
yeah,
So, but every
yeah.
time I see you do it, you list off so much information, and I have no idea how your brain can hold it. I have
It,
the
it's, it's,
worst.
pro-
Go
it's
ahead.
probably the past 50 years of learning.
I have such a bad memory of like recalling the things I just read, and
Uh,
like I read it, I'm like, I have to read it again. I have no idea what I read.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think it's because you've got because I've got such a passion for it. It kind of it's one of the things that you want to remember, if you know what I mean. You want to learn it, and you want
Oh
to.
yeah,
It's not, yeah, you know, you're not forced to learn it like you do get at school with maths and English and things like that. So yeah, it's a joy to um, learn all about the history of your own country. To be honest.
yeah. So is this something you get to do as like a full time job?
No, I'm actually a grave digger as a
Okay.
full-time job.
What? You just got a
I'm a
whole new depth to your character I had no idea about.
yeah, yeah, I'm a grave digger. So I work for my local council, and we go about, we dig the graves, and we help with the funerals and backfill them again
How
once they're
does
over.
one stumble in to that kind of career?
Purely by accident.
Because I work at
So
fireworks, so I feel like it's the same thing. You just kind of look for a job and you just happen to stumble upon it.
yeah, well, it was a case of I've I've worked with a couple of different councils, and the first council I worked with, um, I was just on the grass cutting machines, grounds maintenance type thing, and then over the winter they asked us to go and help out the burials of the
Mhm.
grave diggers. Over the winter, so we went over there, and I quite enjoyed it, and ended up getting my digger ticket, and various other things. And yeah, so when one came up in the council with where I am just now, I just went for it, and I got the job, and I've been there for probably about. In this particular job, it's just over 6 years.
Wow.
Uh, where I am at the moment. So
So is that kind of just because I know nothing about the profession? Does that
not many people do.
uh, is that like over one graveyard location, or is it kind of spread out throughout?
So it's over the. We've got three gravedigger squads, and you get two
You
men in
guys
each
have
squad.
squads.
Yeah, and we've got and we cover the whole of the Perthshire County
Hmm.
area. So you're talking probably over 170 graveyards.
Oh wow.
So there's a good amount in there. So we get about.
Is it all done by like a machine now, or is it still old school and you get to use
Yeah,
a
I
shovel?
mean the majority of it is done with using a mini digger
Hmm.
and using the machine. But you still have to go down and shape it up and put shoring in and things like that as well. And you do have the occasional hand dig as well when you can't get the digger in.
I bet. Have you had any weird work stories as being a gravedigger
Yes.
that
how
you're willing
how
to
child
share?
how child friendly is this is this podcast?
uh, it's usually PG to PG-13.
Right, okay. Well, let's just say we've had a few instances where, obviously coffins get layered on top of each other, usually three. So there has been moments known when we've went down to shore a grave for another coffin in the grave, and you've dipped into the coffin below, let's just say that.
It's not armor plated and break protected for future grave
No,
days.
well, most of them are wood, so they tend to deteriorate after time. So they can be quite soft, and being about 12 stone-ish, then there is a bit of weight goes on top of these lids, and occasionally you can sort of fall through them.
Oh, for sure.
So, but that's kind of things, and it's just things like in the older graveyards, because over time the bones and things they work their way up through the soil towards the surface.
Hmm.
So you see, sometimes you have to go and rebury some really old bones and stuff like that. But yeah, no, that doesn't happen often.
I feel like I should have so many questions. I just don't even know what to ask. I, did, I didn't see this one coming. I guess we'll take it back to
Right.
the YouTube, just because my brain can wrap my head around that a little more.
Yeah.
Uh, so you started off with YouTube. When did you start doing? What was your first one, like location,
Oh wow.
and when was it?
I think it was just over a year ago, so it would have been May time-ish, I think, was when I kind of seriously started doing it. So I was in Cape Verde at the time, and I just done a review of the hotel, and just done a walk through, done a review, a couple of the local towns and areas, some of the beaches and the excursions we went on, that sort of thing. Um, so that would have been the first time. So that would just be about a year ago now,
Okay, so
because it was written.
that's relatively new as well. Then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say so. Maybe yeah, it's about a year. Yeah. Maybe over a year. I honestly can't remember when I first started YouTube because I did once I found TikTok. I left YouTube in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and I never kind of redone anything like spectacularly new on it. So it was a case of uh, I was concentrating on building up TikTok, starting getting my followers. So that took a little while to get going. So I think by November, maybe October, early November, I think that's when I hit the 10,000 follower mark
Oh wow.
on TikTok. So um, once that happened, and then I realised that, oh wait a minute, TikTok's about to get banned in the US. So then I thought, why have I left my YouTube channel in the background doing nothing? So we had to start rebuilding up that. So in November, I only had something like 182 subscribers in November there. So we started like saying to the guys and the followers on TikTok, guys, go over there, give us a little support over there, give us
Mm-hmm.
subscribe because there could be a chance where we might need to migrate over there in order for the followers in the US, which is a considerable amount of my followers. Um, to have a platform where they can still come and see lives and go around the tours and everything that I do.
Yeah, yeah,
So
we're pretty obsessed with looking anywhere where we're not. So we love overseas. And that's
yeah,
how I found you. I was looking at a whole bunch of videos of Edinburgh and also like places in Ireland. So those are the kind of places I'm like, okay, where do I want to
yeah.
visit first? And that's where I found your account because you were actually doing. I think the first one I saw, you were actually just walking around Edinburgh. I'm like,
All right,
oh,
yeah.
I mean, this is convenient. This is where I was thinking of going. I could ask questions. I could talk. It's great. And also, I feel like I can just walk away without getting my steps in, so it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Just let me do all the work.
I mean, you were
Keeps me
talking.
fit though. It keeps me fit.
What was the most amount of walking you had done on a live stream? Do you have an idea?
Oh wow. Well, it could have been. I don't know if it was the live that you came on, but the very first live I done in Edinburgh. I can't remember when it was, but I mean, we had over 500 people watching in the room. I got about 450 new followers on that one live,
Oh
but
wow.
I was live for 5.5 hours. And we were walking Edinburgh, we went to Carlton Hill, right up the whole length of the Royal Mile, going into St Giles Cathedral, the castle, down Victoria Street, up to Greyfriars Kirkyard and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I must have done it maybe twice because I got that many people coming in. Once you've like say go into St Giles and then you come out again, you go somewhere else. By that time, you've maybe got about another 50 followers that hadn't seen St Giles, and they're all asking me to go back again. And so that's what I never ever schedule a live purely for that fact because a sometimes I start earlier because I think, yeah, right, okay, I might maybe go in and say I'm going 1 o'clock, but I said 1 o'clock start in Edinburgh Castle, but no, we want to go 12:30 in Edinburgh Castle because I forgot about the 1 o'clock gun going off.
Yeah.
And I want people to see the 1 o'clock gun going off because people like to see that sort of thing.
What's
These
the
kind of
Sorry, what's the significance of the 1 o'clock gun?
it's basically a guy, I can't remember his name. He brought it back from France, and basically the 1 o'clock gun would go off, and the sailors down in Leith Harbour would set their clocks for that, so that they could keep time when they're at sea and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was actually a maritime related, and it's just continued and been a feature ever since.
Have you retained a majority of your followers and with the tours and walking
Well,
around?
I think so. I mean, it's like everywhere else. I mean, I would say that, like for instance, one day I would get maybe 100 followers when I was doing that particular live, and then maybe about 10 or 15 of them would drop off because maybe they got just overexcited and just followed, or whatever it was. I don't know. But you do lose some followers, but I feel a tendency that most are continuing to follow. I mean, I'm up to, I think I'm just over 19,000 followers now.
Wow,
Um,
that's awesome.
and it's quite a lot of it's kind of mostly organic following as well. So it's all followers that have come in via watching my videos or watching me live. I mean, I have been out and I have done some where you go for the follow pages or whatever they're called on
Hmm.
TikTok, where you go in and people follow each other and support. But through that, I've actually got a little band of regular viewers that keep coming in.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I would also consider that to be kind of partly organic,
Well, I think so.
because it's kind of, so yeah, and the subscribers, we're starting to build a subscriber base now because just recently I've started doing like a regular subscriber only live, and um, I'm giving the subscribers a choice, the choice of where I'm going live next. So I would give them maybe 3 options.
Hmm.
I would explain through the options where they are, what they involve, a wee bit of the history, and let them choose which one they want to go to next. Because I mean, you say, I don't know if you remember, but I did mention Edinburgh as one of them
Hmm.
for this week, for Saturday yesterday, and it was last. It came in last. It was 10% of the vote. They wanted
What?
to go to the Wallace Monument. They wanted to go to
I said
Castle
all
Campbell.
three. Apparently, if I
So
can't make it to that meeting or that live, I just can't get my vote in.
yeah, that's pretty much it. But I mean, again, that could be. I'd rather people come onto the
Hmm.
live and vote rather, because if I let them vote without coming onto the live, then they would never come on.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it's all about, and it's not just about that. It's about me getting to know the subscribers, the people that are really really into the kind of thing that I do. Because you don't subscribe to someone if you're not really enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. Um, so it gives them a chance to get to know me, for me to get to know each other as well. I mean, these guys, just today, when I was doing my live today, they were just having a chat amongst themselves. It's like, just walking about.
Yeah, I've always loved when I follow people and like I get to have I get to know you more right now that I know you're a gravedigger. If I have any
Yeah,
random questions about that,
yeah,
get get
absolutely.
get ready. But also, what I really love is when you have like a regular following, and then you can have those interactions. Like the chat themselves can have an interaction within them, with among
Yeah.
themselves. So it's not
Uh-huh.
fully on you all the time to keep them entertained.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it. I mean, sometimes I get annoyed about it because they're not listening to me. I'm
What?
just kidding, guys, if you're watching. No, it's good because I encourage that, and I also encourage, because I've always maintained from the start of this. I know a little about everything, but I don't know everything about one thing. So my knowledge spread. It's not vast. There's still room for improvement. There's still room for learning, and I love it when guys come on. So I done a live in North Queensferry one day next to the Fourth Rail Bridge, and I talked about a bit about the bridge and a little bit about the local area,
Mm-hmm.
that what I knew about. But then someone comes on that came from that area, and they were providing all this information in the comments. And I really encourage people to do that, because not I learn more, but plus the viewers and my followers get to learn more as well. So it's um, I always encourage people to come on, and if they know something that I've not mentioned or not talked about, then feel free to comment, come in, let us know.
Yeah.
Always encourage that interaction.
Where do you think one of your next? Have you figured out your next location you're going to be exploring?
Not yet, because I'm actually away next weekend. I'm away up into the Outer Hebrides on Friday till Monday, so just for a few days. And I'm not going to do a live at all next weekend, because I'll be taking lots of video and I'll be putting lots of
Mm-hmm.
videos and things up as well. But it's the reason for me going is to spend time with my mum and dad. They're not getting any younger, so we're actually kind of taking them away. They don't know where they're going. They've got absolutely no idea. So
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever been there before. So it'll be a nice wee surprise for them.
Oh, that's fun.
So
Uh,
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
what is one of the things that you're most excited about that trip? Like, do you have anything planned,
Uh,
or is it just kind of you plan as you
eh,
go?
we've there's a few things I want to see while I'm up there. One of them is the standing stones up there. So they're like about 4 or 5 thousand years old, put up by the Druids, sort of in line with this, whether it's the sun or the moon, or I can't remember, but we'll find out when we get up there. The other one is a broch. It's a typical Scottish kind of two-walled house, but also a defendable kind of circular building
Mm-hmm.
that's got a little bit of height to it. A lot of them were built. You don't get a lot in the mainland. You get one or two in the mainland of Scotland, but a lot of them are out in the islands where they were attacked by the Vikings. So they used them not just they were an everyday house
Mm-hmm.
for maybe the leader of the village or whatever it was, the clan chief, or but again, it was somewhere a refuge for people to uh, come into if the village or the island was attacked, such as by the Vikings, which happened a fair bit back then as well.
That is very interesting. I feel like I need to start like looking ahead when I know where you're going someplace and just read up on it so I can ask better questions. Because I know when I enter stream, you're like, think of questions. And I'm just like, I, nope, I'm just going to enjoy and learn. What has been one of your most memorable streaming moments since you started going streaming on TikTok that really
Uh,
sticks out
believe
for you?
believe it or not, it was 2 days ago.
I don't believe it.
Uh, it was Friday. Friday just passed. Friday just passed there, and I didn't know I was going to do a live. Uh, I was just off the cuff. I just finished work. I'll just nip down, do a quick live down at this place called Elco Castle, which is just south of Perth, about 10 minutes south of Perth. And I'd never been there before, and I wasn't expecting much.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, when I went into that castle and we started looking about, I was like a kid in a candy shop. So I had a grin from ear to ear, and my eyes were wide, and I was probably in the same kind of situation where the people that were watching me were in as well. It was like amazement. This place, honest to God, is just it's honest, it's shot straight into one of my top five castles in Scotland that I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think.
That's how cool it was, and it was a real surprise to me.
Yeah, I think I saw. I
So
was
like,
able to catch part of that. It was a really
oh,
cool.
were you on? I wasn't sure if you were on or not.
Sometimes I
Can't
just kind
remember.
of hop in and I just listen and try not to interact.
Ah.
Like
Just
just
be
listen because
sneaky, you mean?
just being stealthy. It's what I do. Um, because I just like listening and learning.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm asking questions, that kind of interrupts the flow of what you're
Ah,
saying.
yeah.
Or if I always overthink. I always feel like it's something either like most of the times you've already said it, and I just
Yeah.
didn't hear it because I came in a little later.
Uh,
And I'm like, well, I don't want
well,
him to repeat it for like the 14th time because I'm sure.
well, what I normally do is before we start like exploring the castle or the palace or wherever we are at the time, what I'll normally do is explain the history at the beginning. And then during the walk through, that's when I'll explain this is a great hall, this is the kitchens, this is cellars, bedchambers, and the rest of it. But I'll also go back and reiterate some of the points of the history aspect of it as well. But believe it or not, there wasn't huge amounts of history with that particular castle either. It was just the wow factor when I went in. I think people could hear the excitement in my voice from, wow, this is about 1,000 times better than I was actually expecting it to be. And it was just that really, although it was just a couple of days of it, it really sticks with me as like, wow.
What gave it the wow factor for you? Because you've toured I don't know how many, but multiple castles in the past.
Quite a lot, man. Yeah, quite a few, quite a few. I think it was just the fact that it's more of an unknown castle. It's not a popular visited place. I mean, when I got there later on in the afternoon, I pretty much had the castle to myself.
Oh, that's
So in that respect, because it's not
mhm.
a well-known touristy castle, the fact that it was very complete for a tower house of that day, and the fact that we could get actually into it, and it was just all these little rooms, and there was like Jack and Jill staircases everywhere, and attic rooms with fireplaces, and every single bedchamber had a toilet in it, an ensuite. That's mental.
Man, that's a castle of luxury right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, they're all ensuite. They've all got walk-in wardrobes. You name it.
Was that the castle that was built in like 1630?
Yeah, yeah. That was the Weems family that built it, and I believe there used to be some kind of stronghold or a castle there at one point previous to that, because there was a mention of William Wallace camping or drinking from the burn that ran through the estate grounds of the castle.
Really?
So, and he was alive a wee bit earlier than the 16th century.
Oh wow. I just want to prove that I do listen because I remember that. That was a test to myself and I passed.
There you go. There you go. You passed.
um I made a joke and that made me throw off my groove of what I was asking. Have you? Oh yeah, I remember. Have you always been interested in history, or is that more of a recent
No,
thing
I've
for you?
always had a huge interest in history. Um, ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved going and visiting castles. I've always liked the sort of medieval aspect of the knights and
Hmm.
the Templars and stuff like that. And that period of history is probably my favourite. But when you extend it over to the likes of the religious Scottish Reformation, when the Protestants took over from the Catholics, That was around 1560.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the Jacobites coming in from 1689. Well, there was three Jacobite uprisings. You had one in 1689, one in 1715, and one in 1745. And in between that, you then learn that Oliver Cromwell's Commonwealth Army came north to fight against the Royalists. So it was like a government army that was non-royalist against the Scots royalists. So he invaded Scotland in 1650 and basically took over the southern Scotland by 16 in the Battle of Dunbar in 1650 itself, and then just gradually worked his way north. He besieged Edinburgh Castle, Stirling Castle, Tantallon Castle got attacked, Dirleton Castle, all on the way up north. And they basically laid waste to the whole shebang.
Wow. How do you know how many castles are in Scotland?
Yes. Do you?
I I don't.
Because I have mentioned this
I'm
before.
going to I'm going to Google it and see how accurate you are.
Okay. So it's believed to be that there was at least 3,000 castles within Scotland itself. However, at this precise moment in time, I think it's roughly about 1,500 or half of those that are either visible or or you're able to visit in some capacity.
Yeah, with a very quick Google search, it says over 2,000 castles in Scotland.
Uh,
Castles and ruins. I'm going to give you a
yeah.
pass. I think you were very
Uh.
accurate.
I'm sure if you do a more in depth Google search of that, you'll probably find that it's roughly about what I said.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I follow your account and I love your streams. That's when I get all the meat and the details, and it's part of a conversation.
Oh
It's
yeah,
great.
absolutely, absolutely. It could be that it's the 2000s, the ones that are visible and you can visit and things like
Hmm.
that, whether they're ruins or more substantial buildings. But they probably lost about 1,000 or so that have just kind of grown over, or the stones been robbed for housing or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that did happen a lot. A lot of the stone used to get quarried by when a castle was left to ruin. A lot of the stone would get quarried away by the locals for building their houses.
Were all the castles like most castles were built in like 1530 within like 1530 years, right?
You could say that. In realistic terms, castles they evolved over time. So they would have
Hmm.
started off back in the sort of in eighth, ninth centuries when they would be wooden, and they would be wooden balustrade castles, wooden towers, and things like that. And then the stone came in, and then we had the great castles where you had the central tower house, but you had a big curtain wall with buildings lining the sides and things like that. And then it evolved again from there, from about the 14th century onwards. From there, they became smaller, just tower houses or um, fortified tower houses that were defendable. So that Elco Castle, for example, that I
Hmm.
went to on Friday, that was a defendable tower house that had evolved from the great curtain wall castles and the big castles that you used to see. Like Tantallon Castle was basically the last great castle that was built with a huge castellated wall and whatnot. And I think it was the late 1100s. I think it was off the top of my head. But yeah, these. Everything evolved over centuries, but generally the castles could take 10 years, it could take 30 years. It depends how big and complicated they are. But
Yeah.
a lot of them get added to and refurbed and changed. And I mean, the amount of changes that's went on in Edinburgh Castle alone. I mean, it started off with David's Tower. David's Tower got destroyed during a siege. So did the four gates. So they rebuilt them, but they rebuilt them in different styles. And then artillery came into play. So you had gunpowder and you had cannon that came into play later on in the late medieval periods onwards, and then they changed again because they needed to put cannon in place to defend the castle against other cannon that were firing upon them. So it was castles evolve over centuries.
Hmm.
So you probably couldn't put an exact right. Okay, so Edinburgh Castle took 20 years to build. It maybe took 5 years to build the first one because it was maybe made out of wood. It was maybe a wooden fort, a hill fort, which history tends to suggest it was before it became a castle.
Really?
And then and then stone came in. I mean, there's supposed to be have been a Fort Hill in Edinburgh as far back as just under 2,000 years ago, because the Romans bypassed Edinburgh and went a little bit further to make their encampment because they didn't want to deal with this hill fort. So yeah.
I know. I know America has a lot of history too, and I feel like I'm more interested in the history that's not in America, and I feel bad about that. Because I'm like, man, we just don't have the cool stuff like you guys have.
Oh, we've certainly got a lot of cool stuff, that's for sure.
uh,
Absolutely.
what is one of your favorite dishes that you like to eat, or meals?
Oh, favorite dish?
Just
Yeah.
bring it back to a little more personable.
Um. I do. I've got to admit, I do like a good bit of steak. A good bit of sirloin steak, with my roast tatties and uh, steamed veg.
Are you much of a cook?
No, I'm not a foodie in any shape or form. I do. Everyday cooking sort of stuff. Yeah, I'll do
Hmm.
that, but. Yeah, most of it is it's like everywhere else in the world these days. You very rarely get a proper home cooked meal these days. It's maybe you'll chuck some veg in and you'll maybe chuck a bit of breaded chicken in the oven to
Hmm.
cook up or something like that. It's convenience, isn't it? That's what it's become these days. It's a convenience. You just don't have the time to prepare a proper full blown meal. Although I've got to admit, my wife does on a Sunday. So.
Hey, what is your wife's best meal to make, or her signature
Oh,
dish?
sh- well, she's got three. So we've got she makes a Chinese curry,
Ooh,
she makes a chili, and she does a mean um, beef olive. So I
I,
don't know if you know what beef olive is.
I don't. I was just about to ask. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so yeah, sausage meat that's
Mm-hmm.
shaped into a sort of kind of tube shape, and then it's wrapped in minute steak, and then it's done in a slow cooker with gravy. That's awesome.
I know what my next meal I'm going to try to make. That's a beef olive.
Yeah, we call them beef olives, and you might call them something different over
Okay.
there.
Why is it called a beef olive?
Because it's made of beef and it's pretty much in the shape of an olive, so it's like almost like
Okay.
a when I say that tube, it's kind of yeah, it's shaped like an olive and it's made of beef.
Okay. Just, yep, I can see it. That makes sense. Um, what when you're not digging graves and doing TikTok lives? What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Oh, I don't really have much free time after that. No, I mean, during my working week, we'll just kind of once we've had dinner, we'll just chill out, watch a movie,
Mm-hmm.
catch up on some series or something like that. At the weekend, maybe once I've done a live, we come back. Like yesterday, we went out for a meal with some family. And I came back, and I've actually got my own pub, which I'm sitting in just now, in the back garden. So we usually just pop out here on a Saturday night.
Oh, fun. What series are you guys currently watching?
At the moment, we like following, funnily enough, Oak Island.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I've
so
heard of it.
we do. Yeah, we enjoy that because, and we're just finding out that I mean, it's not so much for the treasure for me, but the links to the Knights Templar back in Europe and things like that is pretty incredible what they're coming up with. Just some of the artifacts. Another one is we watched Gold Rush,
Okay, yeah.
and we're currently watching a series called Mobland. So it's basically about British gangsters, and it's got Dame Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan,
Oh,
who played 007 back in the day. So there's a fair Tom Hardy's in it as well.
nice. Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So we're just going to catch up on those tonight. Actually, once we've done the year.
What kind of movies do you watch?
Any kind of movies. I like all kind of movies. I'm a big movie buff as well. I've got to admit. I've
Do
got
you
to
have
admit.
do you have a reoccurring film that you watch more often than others?
I used to be a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay.
A huge Star Wars. I used to. I mean, when I was a kid, I think I watched the original Star Wars movie about 200 and odd times. I knew it word for word when I was just a child. And I used to reenact it about the house and stuff like that. I've got that. I do have a little soft spot for the Star Wars films.
What are your thoughts on the recent films?
Eh, the recent films were good actually. I quite enjoyed them. It was the Phantom Menace and those ones that were all CGI'd out. They were
Mm-hmm.
just they just never done it for me. So I'm glad they brought some of the original characters back and the way that they just transitioned it into the newer characters from there. It was a lot more kind of believable, if you know what I mean, rather than
Yeah.
the Phantom Menace.
Are you worried about the future of Star Wars, or do you think they'll get their footing back
To be honest, I think they've done what they probably could do.
and should do?
So yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, going off in the tangent where they're doing different things like the series of The Mandalorian and
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan and things like that. That's probably their niche now. That's probably what they have to do. I don't think you could really do too many more actual movies that would kind of link in with the rest of them.
I heard that Daisy Ridley is coming back for a new Star Wars trilogy and continuing on.
Oh,
Like, I could be wrong, but I believe she is coming back as, I mean, Rey, but she's going to be like training a new era of Jedi.
all right, okay. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We can only critique.
Oh, we're good at that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What kind of music do you like?
I've always been into heavy metal.
Okay. You don't
Yeah, I
strike me
used
as a
to.
heavy metal guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're a big Metallica fan. Um, and actually used to kind of more into the sort of really heavy thrash metal stuff like
Mm-hmm.
Anthrax and Slayer and bands like that. But I've kind of moved away from them at the minute. And but I still like the likes of Metallica, AC/DC, and that sort of thing. I used to have long hair down way down to my butt cheeks when I was in my late teens.
So it's funny. I can't picture you listening to heavy metal, but I can actually picture you with long hair.
Oh,
I don't know why I can, but I can.
best keep that one to yourself, then, Cody.
I promise I will not share that with anyone that doesn't listen to the podcast. So I guess I would like. What have you learned? What is one of the biggest things you have learned since started going live on TikTok and building up an audience, and like you're like, man, I
Um,
wish I knew this from the beginning.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But probably would be. It's a difficult one because there's quite a few I would actually do because it's like everything else. You learn as you go.
Yeah,
The first thing you do is you go out there, you try it, and then you see how it goes, and then you tweak from there. Um, One of my biggest things that I would probably have started doing earlier would have been clearing the cache on my phone for a starter and freeing up memory, and
mm-hmm.
so it would work better when I got a signal. And it's one of these things. It's really difficult to go to a castle and not buffer because of the stone. It's
Yeah,
really difficult. Some castles you can do it, but other castles you can't do it, and they're in places where you think it should be okay, that it's not okay.
yeah,
So some of the more remoter places are actually okay for their signal. Some in the built up areas where you think the signal will be stronger. So that would be one of them. Uh, I think the other thing would be just to sort of slow down a little bit in the terms of uh, the videos that I post up.
mm-hmm.
Leave them for maybe 3 or 4 days before putting another one on. But on the other hand, you've got to, uh, you keep reminding people that you're still there. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to post at least once a day. So what I've started doing it. I'm trying to break it up a little bit where I'll post a video one day and then the next day I'll maybe post a little reminder about a live that I'm doing the following day or that evening or that day and things like that. So it kind of breaks it up a little bit, but it still shows that I'm around.
Yeah. I'm very excited because I like your episode will probably get posted next weekend. I think, if not the
Cool.
weekend after that.
Right.
But I have enough episodes now by the time that this one posts that I can actually take clips and post almost daily, or at least like every other day, at least multiple times a
Uh,
week.
yeah.
But have it from different episodes, so it's not okay. It's this person again. It's this person again. So
Uh,
I can post and be like, okay, this is from like episode 4 or 5, and they're like, okay, that's the one that drew me in. That's one I would start with. If I like it, I could check out the other episodes.
yeah.
But it's not always just the same person every like for that entire week promoting
Uh,
that episode. I can break it up a
yeah.
little, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's something that I've actually started doing as well. So when I'm going out and do my lives, and I'll download the live for myself, and I'll go through it, and I'll maybe pick out little bits. So, for instance, today's video that I put up this morning, it was only about William Wallace's sword. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't about the entire Wallace Monument because I've done that. So it's like you said, it's like taking snippets out and just reminding people that you know that video's there. So if you like that one,
Mm-hmm.
link it to your other video or whatever it is, and yeah, just break it down to like more. Because what I'm finding is my shorter videos that are maybe just about a minute and a half long, do a lot better than the videos that are 3.5 or 4 or 5 minutes long. So the 4 or 5 minute versions, they're going to get condensed down and done maybe once a week or something like that, and I'll put more of the kind of minute to minute and a half. I
Yeah.
don't know whether it's attention span or boredom or what. That's but yeah, that's the kind of thing that I find anyway.
Yeah, oddly enough, I think TikTok and just social media in general has kind of ruined the attention span of people.
Yeah,
And once Reels and stuff came out, I think it just shot everything else that we had is
yeah,
gone. I actually
yeah,
stayed away from TikTok for the longest time because when I first started to hear about it, I'd hear people just like starting a video and then like 2 seconds skip to the next video. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
constantly scrolling and flipping, and they're not getting anything of what was said.
yeah. You said
And I'm just like, oh, that sounds horrible. And it doesn't sound exciting at all. Like, this is like floofy, no meat to any sort of substance to like
Yeah.
content. I'm like, oh, I'm staying away from TikTok. And I don't remember why I finally gave it a try, but then I started to realize like, oh, people do like lives and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, there's actually can be something more to this than what my
Yeah.
20-year-old coworkers have
Yeah.
shown me.
Well, that was pretty much the same. I thought, well, TikTok is for kids. It's just
Mm-hmm.
for scrolling through for nonsense, eh? And then once I actually brought myself to have a proper look at it, that was it. It was like, oh well, there is more to this. Like you said, there's a lot more to this. You know, you could probably do something here. And I think even just starting less than a year ago, it kind of proves that, you know, people do want some kind of content,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of purpose that they can kind of come around rather than just. Because what I found was when I first started on TikTok, it was all these battles that were going on, and for coins and things like that. And it was like they were getting like three people in the room. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they would have like three or four people or their friends or maybe got to know them or something like that. They come in on a regular basis and support them and things. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with
Oh
it. I
no.
mean, that's what they do. That's what they do. Um, but I feel like you know, if people are sending me a rose or a gift of some sort, I believe that, you know, they're getting something for that rather than, you know, let's help him win.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting something substantial for it. And you know, I'm taking more time and effort and things to go out and about and do that, and I think people appreciate that. And I think over the past, what's that, 9, 10 months, I think. No, I'll be about 10 months since I started. I don't know if that kind of growth is good on TikTok or not because I've no idea. But I think 18, 19,000 followers within 10 months is, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I'd be impressed with that.
yeah. So yeah, I'm happy with where I am just now, but obviously we want to grow it, and you know, I'd love to do it on a full-time basis.
Is that the goal that you would like to be?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think I'm giving myself. I've set a goal, and I've given myself 5 years
Okay,
where I could be in a position where I could do it full time.
that's awesome.
So I've got something to go for, and well, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's life, isn't it? So.
Have you ever done a TikTok battle?
I think when I very first started, I tried a couple, and then I found out that, you know, nobody's really coming in to watch this, you know. And I thought, why am I doing this? So I eventually said to the followers I had at that time, I says, look, I says, I'm not going to do any more battles. I says, I'm here and I'm going to concentrate on doing what I'm doing with the history and live tours and things like that. I say I'm going to. So I stopped doing the battle, and I've never been and done a battle since.
I
So
appreciate that so much. The amount of times that I start having like a conversation with like a creator and we're talking, like, let's do a battle, and then the chat just, I'm just like, it pulls me away. I'm just like, I don't want to be part of this. It's
yeah, it
not,
does.
it's
It
not
does.
fun.
It's not. It's not something you can bring into the likes of what I do.
Yeah.
The minute you do that, you'll lose your audience just
Hmm.
like that, and
Yeah.
they'll just drop out.
I want to start going live. I just have nothing to talk about in a live format. I'm not doing cooking streams. I'm like, I have nothing to talk about. I don't do battles. I can't be like, hey, we're doing a battle
Uh,
tonight. I was like, I got nothing.
there's always something because I was. That's what I'm saying. I was always finding. I mean, I didn't know if this was going to like develop into anything when I first done it. I thought I'll give it a try. I'll see what happens. I'm quite comfortable in front of a camera or behind the camera talking away. It's not a problem, and it's it was it just clicked in me. It was just I've got to keep doing this. I absolutely love doing it. When I'm out and about, what goes past as maybe 3 hours just feels like 5 minutes to me.
Yeah.
I'm like I always get really surprised. Christ, we've been on for like an hour and a half by already. It's like
How
I just
many
get totally warped up and everything.
how many recharge like portable phone chargers do you carry with you when you do a stream?
One.
Has that been and that's been enough, or you're just like, hey, if this dies, that's when the stream ends?
No, I used to have a small one that was
Hmm.
only 10,000 amps, and that maybe gave you half a charge, and it wasn't a lightning fast one, so it wouldn't keep up with you when you were live streaming anyway. So I got myself a bigger one that does maybe about 7 full charges of an iPhone, and it's lightning quick C to C,
Hmm.
Type C, Type C. So it's I can as soon as I reach about 15% on the phone, I'll pop that in, and within about half an hour to an hour, not only has it kept me going, but it's also fully recharged my phone, and I can
Really?
take it back out again. Yeah,
That's actually really good.
yeah.
Do you have enough charge in the portable charger to do another charge if need be?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'd probably. Like I said, you could charge an iPhone up from scratch about 5 or 6, maybe 7 times from this one.
Wow.
So I think it's a 30,000 amp battery pack that I've got that I
How,
take
how
with me.
how big is that thing? I'm just picturing like this big like laptop of a battery charger. Oh, that's not bad at all.
That's it. Yeah,
That could just fit in the back pocket.
yeah, yeah. It fits in the pocket. Yeah. So yeah, I just use that anytime I might need it.
So,
And I just
do you have any big goals for your channel and your content for this year that you're hoping to hit?
for this year. So at the moment, I said in by the time July comes, I would like to have 20,000 followers, and that'll be my first year over. After that, then I'm looking to probably double that and a little bit more, and then
Mm-hmm.
double that and a little bit more. Um, I'm not naive enough to think that I'm going to jump from getting 20,000 to pushing it up to 100,000. Yeah, I do realise that the more you get known and the better,
Mm-hmm.
the more out there you are and these kind of things, they do grow a little quicker. So that's why I say, right, okay, first year 20,000. So let's aim for maybe another 30,000 the following year. Just up it by 10,000 because they do start snowballing at some point. Similar to videos that you put on, if one just starts to
Mm-hmm.
get that little bit more likes and a little bit more reposts, I've had it happen with one video where it ended up with 60,000, over 60,000 views on it. But it's only happened to once.
I've never had. Well, I don't post that often yet. I was waiting for more content, which again is soon. But I know I've had comments that have hit like I've made like a stupid joke comment and they hit like
Yeah,
2-3,000 likes. I'm just like, why of all the comments that I've said, why this one? I see
yeah.
no reason
Uh,
for it. The comment below me is way better.
uh, yeah, I mean, it's most of my videos now. I seem to be sort of getting round about the 3,000 views for the video. Um, I think I'm about 1.5K views for the one that I posted this morning already.
That's a,
That seems to be going pretty well. So I'll probably expect maybe about 4 or 5 from that if it goes the way it's been going so far today. Um, but I try and get I also find that putting myself in front of the camera sometimes, letting the followers and people that are watching know who is doing the talking and things like that as well.
Yeah.
That really helps as well. And so occasionally you'll see me just focusing, just having a video on myself, talking away, saying, "Okay, guys, couple of days' time or tomorrow at blah 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 time, this is when we're going to go live, do this and do that," because I think it's important that they got a face to the voice that they're hearing all the time when we're
Yeah.
out doing the tours and things.
Uh,
So yes.
yeah, no, I fully agree. I think having the face behind, which is so hard for me because like I do photography as a hobby. So
Right.
I'm like I'm always the guy that's behind the camera. I don't
Yeah.
have the personality to be in front of the camera, especially like this is fine because this is just a conversation. I just
Yeah.
happen to have a camera on me,
Yeah.
but like me just like talking to my phone and recording a video feels so wrong to me. And I know like if I really want this to be something, I do have to get over that
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get out of my comfort a little. But I'm just like, this sounds horrible. Why do I want to do this?
Uh, the thing is, though, the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and then it
Yeah.
becomes like a kind of second nature thing. I mean, sometimes, I mean, I was, believe it or not, I was never ever one for small talk. So I would be, you know, if we were meeting up with friends and that, apart from saying how you doing,
Mm-hmm.
what you've been up to, that sort of thing, then I don't really go in, I didn't really go into the small talk very often. Uh, but that has completely changed now because I've been doing this. So when I'm doing a live, especially my sub only live on a Wednesday night, and the camera's on me and just me, and it's not in a castle somewhere, you've got to try and fill that time,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got to be able to ask questions of the people that are watching, answer any questions that they're asking you, and that sort of thing. And I find that's trickled out into my personal life as well, where I'm a little bit more chatty than I normally would
Mm-hmm.
be. I find it easier to small talk and that sort of thing. So it helps both ways.
I'm actually hoping like this is kind of a social project for me then, and I hope that this will lead into like me being more of a natural conversationist with people
Yeah,
around me.
yeah, but I will do. It'll happen naturally.
Yeah.
It'll happen naturally because I just find after a little bit of time, then I was find myself small talking a little bit more often with my friends and the family and things like that. And I was like, God, there's going to be one minute shut up shortly.
So I have one more question for you, and then I will
Yeah,
let you enjoy your evening.
no worries.
What is one thing that you wish more people would ask you?
Oh, well, I don't think I've got a particular thing that I would say I would want people to
Mm-hmm.
ask me more of because they already do it. I mean, the people that come in and watch these things, they've got a genuine interest in history to
Mm-hmm.
begin with, and then maybe they find that a more appealing, specialised interest in Scottish history. Um, so whether it's history in general or I mean, it's some people. It's not just the history; it's the views and the landscapes of Scotland as well that they come in to see rather than the history. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, they ask the relevant questions. We don't get a lot of. I don't get a lot of spammy stuff,
That's good.
through my channel. My moderators keep on top of it. I've been strict for the start, saying, if you're going to come in here and you're going to talk about politics, or you're going to talk about Donald Trump, or you're going to talk about the Palestinians, or
Mm-hmm.
Iran, or China, or North Korea, or trade wars, or whatever it is, go somewhere else and do it.
Yeah.
We're not interested in that. This is for people to come. It's a safe place for people to come in, get away from it, and enjoy a bit of history, a bit of Scotland, whether it's views, culture, history. It doesn't matter. I would love it to be a safe place for everybody, and I think we've pretty done pretty well to keep it that way. And my moderators that come in and help out, they all know what I expect
Yeah.
from them, so they keep an eye out on the chat and things, because you can't do everything. I found that out early on pretty quick. Trying to answer all the questions, trying to pin up where you are, trying to keep an eye on what you're doing, where you're walking, keep an eye on the screen, talk at the same time. It's a lot.
It's, how has your multitasking been since you started streaming? Has it improved? Or is your brain just fried by the time you're done?
No, I mean, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
It's I'll take time. You've seen some in my life, so I take time where I'll stop. I'll maybe sit down, have a coffee. I'll have a good look at the comments and the screens,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll see if anybody's got any questions to ask me at that point. Or I'll say to them, "Look, I'll give you the history at the start." They're getting used to the way that I work as well, so the followers are coming in, and like most of the time, I don't even have to tell them to start liking now. They just automatically hitting that screen. It was Saturday when we were at Castle Campbell, so it was the second live. And I just said to them, I says, right guys, you set yourselves a target to reach for likes. And one came up with 100,000, one came up with 150,000, one came up with 10,000. And I says to the one with the 10,000, I says, we've reached that within the next 5 minutes. I says, we're looking bigger. I says, it needs to be bigger than that. Because they do, they come in and I think I got 125,000 likes that day
Mm-hmm.
just for that live, and I was only live for 2 hours.
That's awesome.
So it's like, it's just a bit of fun for them as well. That gives them a bit of incentive, a bit of interaction. Yeah, we've got to reach this target by X amount of time, or before we finish the live, or whatever, and it just gives them a little.
I feel TikTok has ruined me because I'll walk in or I'll hop into a live and I'll just start tapping just because it's
Yeah.
why not? But then I'd do like watch a reel or something like Instagram and I'm just double tapping. I'm like liking, unliking, liking, unliking. And I'm just like, no, gotta stop.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah, it
same.
becomes second nature if you're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
It's the same with anything. You do something repetitive enough, it just becomes muscle memory rather than you actually thinking about it.
Okay, so two more questions. One's really important.
Okay, okay.
So, before the important one, where is your dream like place you want to take the chat that you're like, man, I really hope I can take them here someday. If you have one.
Well, the the thing is, when I go in Scotland, everything's relatively close by in comparison to other countries. So if I want to go to Inverness, to Loch Ness, or to
Mm-hmm.
Fort George up by Inverness, or Culloden Battlefield, it's maybe about 2.5 hours up the road from where I am.
Well, that's
If
not
I want
bad.
to go, if I want to go down south, if I want to go to the borders of England, I want to go and visit Hadrian's Wall or
Mm-hmm.
Alnwick Castle, Bamber Castle, Berwick upon Tweed, places like that. That's only 2 hours down the road. So where I'm situated, I can pretty much get anywhere in the country within about 2 to 3 hours. Apart from the islands and
Yeah.
maybe some of the western extremities or really far north. So most places I can get to within a relatively reasonable time. What I would love to do though is I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm hoping to get to see the Great Wall of China at some point in the next few years.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And I would love to do a live from the Great Wall of China. That would be absolutely awesome. That or Machu Picchu.
That'd be so fun.
So I mean, I've already done it from. I mean, I've went live from Egypt before.
Mm-hmm.
When we done the Nile cruise, that was back in November, and just cruising up the Nile on the boat. Sun setting, you've got temples and things in the background as you're sailing along, and you're doing a live, and you're talking about. It's just awesome.
Yeah, that I remember that stream. That was fun. So the more important question:
Yes.
how do you take your coffee?
I take my coffee black, so Americano style, black Americano with sugar, preferably brown sugar or demerara sugar, as you might know it. I'm not sure if you know it's brown sugar or demerara
Yeah,
sugar.
brown sugar here.
Yeah, brown sugar. Yeah, preferably brown sugar, but I do take white in it if it's not available.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again so much for being a part of this and letting us
No worries,
get to
Cody.
know you.
Thank you very much.
Um, and you are welcome to hop on again sometime if you ever want to join and
Just,
talk about something.
just say the word, Cody.
I
Say the
will,
word,
because I'm
and I'll
running
be
out of
there.
people, so it might happen.
You just need to get out there and ask more.
Yeah, I feel well. It feels so weird just like sending random people messages like, "Hey, I have a small podcast that's just starting. Any chance you
Yeah,
would want to guest on it?" And some of them say yeah, and some are like ghost me, which is I feel is rude but fair.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
um,
No, but it was good to see you actually and get to know you.
yeah, I always hope to when you do your personal. All right,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I've got to watch what I'm doing because I just thought honestly there was one night I think it was a week after that one. I had left the music on in the background and I must have missed a couple of warnings from TikTok. And the next minute, if I wasn't stopping the live within the next minute, they were banning me from TikTok. So I was like, "I'm away, guys. I do not want to risk. I do not want to risk getting banned from TikTok at all. That would just be, yeah, just because I had background music on it. It's copyright, so it's one of these things. It's the same way alcohol. Even though I put in audience restriction, every live that I do is audience restricted to over 18s. So I can't show alcohol or drink on the video streaming either. You get warned for that. So I've no idea. I've not tried. I don't think I'm going to try either, just to be on the safe side. Oh well, let me find out. Hmm.